The only thing that keeps you hanging on the surface is that you don't want to die.
What you do transcends culture, right? It transcends language.
I know that once my mind is set up for doing something, even though I am failing or I am moving backwards, I know no matter next day, I'll try again and I'll do it.
And what's different about climbing a building versus climbing a rock? What did you first notice?
In some of the buildings, there is no way to have a rest. It's like your body, it's like a tank, and the gas is getting lower and lower and lower until, if there is no more gas, your arms are opening and you're dead.
You know, you talked about holding yourself up by your fingers and how, I mean, I guess it's a way where you just really realize how precious your life is and how amazing your life is.
You are holding your life with sometimes only a few millimeters. And I really love this fighting mode. This is what keeps me alive.
The world is changing. Inspiration is everywhere. It has never been so easy to connect, share, and bring people together. We're learning from others and finding the best in ourselves. Challenging our beliefs. Sharing our vulnerability. Overcoming our fears. Transforming ourselves so we can transform the world. How far can we go?
This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is... Spider-Man, Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Yep, I'm talking about the French Spiderman, Alain Robert. This guy was on the show. Of course you know him. He predates the internet. The guy that you saw climbing up the Sears Tower, the guy that you saw climbing up the Petronas Tower with no ropes, the Burj Al Khalifa. This guy scales things back when nobody ever heard of free climbing. And he's now 58 years old and he's still doing it. I love sitting down with Alain, and I was surprised to learn that he was actually a free solo climber back in the day. Much like Alex Honnold that just climbed El Capitan in Yosemite for his movie Free Solo, and he was actually on the cutting edge of climbing many rock faces in Europe without any ropes. In fact, Alex Honnold says he's one of the original dudes, and it was interesting to see that he had that much street cred and respectability in the climbing community. But there's more. Alain believes that everybody out here is living the crazy life because when he's up on that building, he feels alive. That makes sense to him. He feels at peace. And the rest of the time, he kind of doesn't really know what life is about. And I found that perspective really interesting. Someone who risks their life in order to feel alive. He's a fascinating dude with incredible stories. He's got a real rebel punk edge to him as well. And he's still climbing. He's a new father. And it's just great to be around this rock star of a dude. So sit back and enjoy my incredible episode with the French Spiderman. This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is Alain Robert, the 58-year-old urban climber known as the French Spiderman. You are one of the world's most daring free solo climbers, famous for scaling over 165 skyscrapers and famous landmarks all over the world, including the Eiffel Tower, the Empire State Building, the Petronas Twin Towers, and the 110-story Willis Tower, formerly known as the Sears Tower in Chicago. You've been arrested over 120 times, and in 2011, you climbed the tallest building in the world, the Burj Khalifa, ascending almost 3,000 feet over 6 hours, securing your place in the Guinness Book of World Records. Alain, welcome to London Real.
Well, you said everything, so I gotta go now.
That's it, right? First, before we get started, I wanted to know, what is it like coming to London? Because you've been coming to this city for many years. I mean, and climbing things in this city with different reactions, right? You came first, I think, in '95 and did Canary Wharf, and then you came back in like '04 and then '11. Tell me, what's your relationship like with this city? And is it friendly to people like you?
Actually, I kind of like London, except the weather. It's always a nightmare. I never know what I'm going to find when I'm landing in London. But
Which can affect your climbs in a big way, right?
it is, and also because I don't really like cold weather. I don't like rain, so that's why actually I moved to Bali like this. The weather is really nice. It can't be lower than 26, and pretty much every day it's a sunny day with like around 30, 32. So I really enjoy.
Okay, but you come to London in the past because it had great structures, and it was a fun city and energy. So you like the city.
I still like it a lot. Although now I'm done because I got 2 injunctions.
Okay, so what does that mean? You have an injunction, which means if you try to climb something in the city, they're going to put you in jail for 5 years. Is that right?
Yeah, they could even put me, regarding my lawyer risk, for up to life sentence in jail. I don't think they would do that, but actually they are entitled to do it. So it's kind of tough.
And this happened when they found out you were going to try to climb the Shard, right? Is that when they decided to be proactive with an injunction on you?
Exactly. Which at that time I had no idea that just hanging around on a building, whether I got spotted by the security people and they knew who I was, and I never ever thought that just by presuming that maybe you may climb their building, that they could do something against me. So that's why I was not really trying to be hidden. If not, I guarantee you, I was going to wear a cap, I was going to wear normal jeans and whatever, but definitely not wearing such a snake.
Were you wearing the snake skin?
Well, that wasn't snake skin at the time, but that was like kind of a turquoise leather pants and leather jacket, so already very flashy.
Okay, so you're doing a little recon around the Shard.
Yeah, just like being sure that, and then yes, I saw that actually climbing the Shard was kind of easy because they built it. Each of the corner there is like a big pipes. It's a bit like a tall ladder. So I knew overall, I didn't care whether it was going to be difficult or not.
Right.
I knew that although it would be an easy building, at least as the tallest building in Europe, I wanted to do it.
Right. And a bunch of people have climbed the Shard since then.
Yeah, there was those. Actually, at that time, I was supposed to do an ascent for Greenpeace.
Okay, Greenpeace for
and
the
then
Shard.
I had to wait because I came. It was like I forgot if it was December or January, but I had to wait until June. So after like few weeks, I already got an email, and they were explaining me that they wanted to attack me. And then I didn't know what to do. I spoke to my lawyer and he said, look, Alain, I'm having a problem because it's not enough. It will be going to the High Court of Justice and you need also a barrister. And the barrister costs £5,000.
Okay.
So the lawyer was my friend. So he said, okay, I'll do it pro bono. But I was just thinking myself, if I go to court, it means that I have paid £5,000 for a barrister, then the judge is going to find me guilty. He's going to feel this guy, he doesn't want the injunction. Why? Because he's going to climb it illegally. And obviously, and then in my mind, I just thought, there is no way that I can fight against it.
Right, and you never saw anything like this before, where a city or a country was proactive, even when you hadn't committed a crime. You were just walking around looking at the building, but they'd put an injunction because they thought you might climb it.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, because I never imagined that it was possible to do something proactive.
Okay.
I thought if you are committing a crime, then you get caught.
Yeah.
It is happening. It's not something that maybe you may do it or you may not do it. It's a bit like, okay, you are really seeing a guy who has, I don't know, killed or robbed a bank, and then the day he's outside, you make an injunction on all the banks, so meaning this guy is not allowed to approach the banks.
Right, okay, gotcha. So you can't climb while you're here, but the first time you came here was '95, and you climbed one of the towers in Canary Wharf. It was the HSBC tower.
Oh, no,
maybe.
that was the Canary Wharf building. There was nothing at all at that time. There was only one building.
One building out there.
Yeah, that was great because the cops were really nice. The people in the building were really nice. I remember, when I was at the police station, I spent like 20 minutes. I got nice food, English food. So not nice food, but okay.
Okay. And
I didn't get sick.
Right, and on that day, you tried to climb to the top, but it started raining and it was cold.
That was later on, I had to do something for one of my sponsors, and then they were kind of insisting because I was already a few days. We were waiting in London. I guess their expenses was skyrocketing, and on that day they were kind of insisting for me to climb.
Okay.
At least it was not raining, although the sky was threatening. So I went there. I was hidden inside the trunk of a car because on the day before, actually, some cops, they saw me and then I got kind of headache. Then I decided that I was going to find another way. And then I climbed and I climbed.
So you hide in the trunk of a car.
Yeah.
It pulls up. You jump out the trunk.
I just dashed out of the car and then I started climbing and then it just couldn't do anything.
And so when you go to climb a building like Canary Wharf or anything else, I mean, for you, you've already hopefully planned it out. So you've scoped out and done some reconnaissance of the building itself. Do you look at like drawings or architecture plans? But before the internet, how could you know what's at the top of a building or what you can hold on to?
Actually, sometimes I had to go in the city, like I did in Chicago when I climbed the Sears Tower.
Sears Tower.
I went there 4 times.
Okay.
Did
you go up to the observation deck?
I did it, but also going inside other buildings
and looking
checking
across.
with powerful binoculars and just being sure that there was not a mistake, attempting the climb, because I've never climbed to die. I've always climbed because I just feel like I want to feel alive. I want to reach the top alive because I'm having responsibilities, first of all, and also because I am not a suicidal person. I fully enjoy life.
Okay, so you're not suicidal. Are you an adrenaline junkie?
Well, some people, they are calling it that way. So let's say that I can feel a lot of things when I am climbing, especially after the ascent. But maybe if this is adrenaline, then yes, I am. But I couldn't tell you exactly what it is. I just know that it feels good.
Okay. Do you feel, I mean, you're not shaking though. I mean, like, are you kind of in a real Zen state when you're climbing? Do you feel like it's an out of body experience?
I'm more like a focused person.
Okay.
Not really thinking about anything. Like I am really into it. I know it's a game. It's life and death is very close. It's a very thin line.
Yes.
And I cannot afford to overstep the border. Then I don't have time, to think about my other problems or, the bills that I just didn't pay.
Right.
I just don't give a damn fuck about it. I just do my stuff.
So that's a beautiful moment because in the rest of your life, you got problems. You got to think about things.
You're right. That's the thing. We human beings, all along our lives, we are facing tons of problems, and then we need to settle all of those issues. But when you are free soloing, you are really fucking at peace. Although you may die like within a snap, but you are really into it. There is nothing interfering, and it's just magical.
Is that a flow state? Have you heard of this term, the flow state? Is that what that is, or you don't overthink it?
I'm also not really knowing about it.
Okay, but it feels really good.
Like floating?
It's called flow state. It's like when
I'm
people are like in the zone and you're out there and you're focused, but you're not exhausted. It's maybe a little adrenaline, but you're not panicking.
Meaning, yeah, that's the magic of that feeling, is that you are not dead, you are alive, but you are also not really alive because you are so close to die, and I don't know. it's just amazing, nowadays our society is bombarding on security for this, security for that.
And
They are
safety.
putting cameras everywhere,
Right.
in London all the more. I think it's most likely the city in the world which there is the most CCTVs, right?
Yeah, in London, yes. Most
So-
cameras everywhere, and there's safety everywhere. And you think that the rest of the people, besides you, our lives are too safe. There's too boring. There's no risk.
Yeah, because
Maybe our lives look crazy to you. People say you're crazy, but you think it's crazy not to take risks.
exactly, our ancestors, they were having a difficult life. They were taking risk on a daily basis. They had to kill big animals to survive. That is the way the life was a long time ago. But nowadays, yes, we found plenty of ways to make our life secured and everything. But overall, it's boring. Nowadays, most of the people, honestly, they are watching adventure, seated on a armchair on fucking TV, and wow, they are watching Indiana Jones or whoever. And then when they off the film, they are going back to their boring life.
Do you think that's why we suffer from so much depression and anxiety? Because we're not taking risks?
I think so, because, overall, I built my life, in a certain way. I never wanted to work. You know why? You know what's the meaning of working? I checked it. I didn't know before. It means torture.
Means what?
So torture.
Thought you're...
Torture.
Okay.
Torturing people.
Oh, torture.
Yeah,
Oh,
torture.
That's
Yeah,
the
I'm
definition.
sorry, torture.
That's okay. That's the definition of work.
Who wants to get tortured? Nobody. Then when you are working, obviously you are torturing yourself. So I wanted not that for my life.
You didn't want anything to do that. You were always an adventurer. You always wanted to.
I always felt like in life, there is those who wants to live their dreams and those who are only dreaming their lives. And me, I wanted to live my dreams.
Okay.
So and this I got it like I was like 15. I already knew exactly what I wanted to do with my life.
And you grew up in France.
I grew up in France.
What kind of childhood? Like, when were you in the rural areas? Were you in the countryside? Were you?
I was in a city, and
Okay.
then I became a Boy Scout, then starting to go, a bit outside, discovering the nature, climbing cliffs, and
Now,
having
climbers
fun.
are a weird bunch of guys, right? I mean, climbers.
Maybe a bit, yeah.
I mean, you kind of do your own thing. It's usually not the most social thing, right? You're up on a rock, and I mean, you kind of tune out of society somewhat, climbers.
Yeah, yes. Well, maybe yes. A long time ago, I was like that, but now I'm like close to 58, and I am exactly the opposite. I'm socializing with people.
Okay.
I do find interest in many things. I can be just a guy going on the beach 6 o'clock in the morning in Bali, just looking at the waves and just being amazed by my surrounding. Finally, I can say I am seeing the world the way it is.
Right.
Which when I was young, I was far too focused on climbing, on training, on being good, doing this, doing that, and then there's so many things that I didn't see, and fortunately for me, as I'm still in a good health, I can still see a lot of things that I didn't manage to see before.
Yeah. All right. I want to go back to Chicago really quick, because I lived in Chicago for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
In the 90s. I don't know, when did you climb Sears Tower?
1999.
99. Okay. I lived there about 1995, and I went up to the top of the Sears Tower deck. First of all, it's windy in Chicago.
Yeah.
It's cold, and the Sears Tower is the scariest building. I was up at the observation deck, maybe at the 106th floor, 103rd floor. I mean,
Yeah, you're right.
it's a scary building. It's massive. And you went to climb it, and you had a point where you said, "I'm dead," right? I mean, you were
Oh
up
yeah,
there.
well, especially on that day when I climbed it.
First of all, why'd you climb it?
Because it was there and I had to do it. It's like mountains, there is I heard it a long time ago, and because people, they keep on questioning why are you climbing, and just because there is a mountain.
Right.
And for me, the Sears was like a mountain of glass and steel, and it was so obvious that it was an amazing target.
Was it the tallest building in the world at the time?
At that time, it was.
It was, right. Okay. And you had done your first building only about 4 years earlier in 95.
Also in Chicago.
Oh, also in Chicago. All right.
At that time, I saw the Sears and I just thought, fuck, this building is totally impossible. It's scary, actually. I went to the observatory deck. I was looking down, although I was used to it. I had climbed a lot mountains, with like 1,000 meters cliffs. But, a building is different because you're having a reference point. You can see the scale because down the road, you can see the car. And the car in your mind, it means something. If you are climbing a big mountain, you are not seeing such a thing. So at one point, you get lost. You don't know whether you are 500 meters above the ground, 1,000 or 2,000, because you are kind of lost.
Okay.
But on a building, you are perfectly knowing where you are.
Because there's cars on the ground and it's so straight, you can see all the details.
Definitely, it is scary.
Okay.
And I love that scariness because I just knew that, wow, I'm gonna do that.
Right.
The morning I was about to do it, I was even crying.
Really?
Because I knew that most likely I was living my last few hours.
Wow.
I was crying, but I have decided, no way, I am not moving backwards. I'll do it.
How do you deal with the emotions, say 24 hours before? What's happening? Are you going up? Are you going down? The tears, are they tears of fear? Are they tears of joy?
Yeah, actually, it's like waves, meaning there is moment which you are not doubting about yourselves, and there is moments which you are like pretty much down, and then it's kind of difficult. Overall, I have always known that once I am into action, all of that, I put it aside.
Okay.
I am focused. I am the tiger who is fighting, and I make it. I don't make it. It's not such a big issue, actually. I've been living such an amazing life. I have crossed more than 4 decades free soloing. And I still don't even know why I'm still alive, actually, because I fell a few times. Doctors, they said year 1982 that physically talking, I was not going to be able to climb back.
Right. You fell in 82.
Yeah.
This is 13 years before you climbed a major skyscraper in Chicago.
Even the cliffs, because
right.
a lot of people are not knowing that I did amazing cliffs free solo.
Super high difficulties.
Yeah.
What are they called? Like 513?
513D.
C, D.
Except that, when I became mediatic, the journalists, they said, we don't care about cliffs. And now that Alex Honnold, who is my friend, he has climbed El Capitan, then it's like, fuck, what I did 30 years ago, it's my fucking legacy. and people, they start talking about, even Alex, he said it, I am having transcript. He did a very nice interview for my next documentary. It's going to be released end of March. And what he said, what this guy did 30 years ago is mind-blowing, because his margin in between what he could do with a rope and what he did without was nearly the same. Okay. He said, look, I climbed a free rider, but my highest level with a safety was 4 or 5 grades above free rider. This guy, he was climbing at his utter limit with and without safety.
So he was giving you props by saying you were one of the best original free solo climbers.
Yeah, except that the journalists nowadays, they don't give a damn.
Because they see the buildings.
I got hurt when I read some stuff, because I'm just not only a guy who is climbing fucking buildings. I did climb cliffs for 20 years on a daily basis, free soloing art stuff, 513 A, B, C, and D, which nobody has ever climbed that level of difficulties. And then when suddenly I was like completely ignored, like people writing, oh, he's climbing an easy building, movements are quite repetitive and bullshit, first of all, I climbed some very hard buildings like the Sears, like the Framatome in Paris La Défense, like the Blue Cross in Philadelphia, like the Petronas in Kuala Lumpur. So not all of the buildings, first of all, they are repetitive. So it's just like people, they are writing bullshit.
Right.
They are totally non-informed, and it is really hurting.
Yeah, and look, I had Jimmy Chin in here, who was the director of the movie Free Solo, and Alex Honnold has come out and said that he's not the most technical climber. You know, he doesn't do like those 513Ds
Exactly.
Free Solo. And it sounds like you were one of the original Free Solo guys. I mean, because people weren't doing that Free Solo stuff way back in the day, right?
Yeah, I know deep down, and that's why, you know, now a lot of people, they start to understand, because with Instagram, with Facebook was not so obvious, because the people following me, they were like you know, kind of normal people. But Instagram, there is a lot climbers who are following me, and they are discovering year 2018, 19, and 20 that actually this guy, he did awesome things, but we just didn't know about it.
Okay, but Alex knows about you, and he's given you the
He's
shout
my
out.
friend.
How did you become friends with Alex Honnold? Did
Because
you?
we met together in Poland. He's having one of his, I think his mom, she's from Poland.
Okay, and you met him a long time ago?
Oh, like 8 years back.
Okay, before he did El Capitan.
Yeah, but at that time it was already really good, you know, free soloing.
He had
so
free soloed Half
yeah.
Dome already, perhaps.
I remembered, because I got the Grand Prix for my life, you know, all the things that I have done. And you know, Poland, they are very very square, you know. To get that prize, it's kind of amazing. And he saw, Alex, that I could pull my whole body with the pinky.
You could.
Yeah.
When you were younger, or
When
even
I was younger.
Okay.
And
before
then it was like, kind of, wow, fuck, how you can do that?
They had
I
video-
know. This is the thing that he was like fucking amazed. He saw it, and he just didn't know that actually it was possible doing such a thing.
Wow. And there was film of you doing that from way back?
There was a video, yeah.
From a long
there was
time ago,
everything.
in the
Well,
80s.
like 30 years back.
Wow. Okay. Because a lot of the stuff that you did wasn't documented.
No, because you
video
know,
cameras.
at that time there was no
cameras.
internet, and no YouTube, no Google, no nothing. You know, nowadays whatever you do, whenever you are going to pee, there is somebody filming you.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I want to get back to the Sears Tower, but while we are on Honnold, what did you think of Alex doing the free solo of El Capitan? You must have known he was about to do it before he did it.
I knew it.
You knew about it. What did you think
before.
when you heard he was going to do it? Because you had your falls in '82 when you were doing free solos. Did you think it was a bad idea, a good idea? Did you think Alex could do it?
All my best performances, I did it after my accident.
Okay.
Meaning I became really famous end of the 80s, beginning of the 90s. Meaning I was already highly handicapped.
Right.
I had my 66% disabled.
Right. So your wrists are your.
Meaning my wrist, my nerves, you know, a lot of things. I am having problem, you know, vertigo problems with my internal earrings on the left side. So meaning everything that I have done that is really relevant, I did it
Afterwards.
after my worst accident.
How do you have these injuries and do these amazing free
I
solo
fell
climbs?
head first, 15 meters, actually hand first. At the bottom of the cliff, it was rocks. So imagine the impact. Both wrists, they completely smashed up, really destroyed in 100 pieces each.
Wow.
Also my elbows, because my forearms work like shock breakers. And that most likely this is what saved me. And then after that, I burnt my head. I was in a coma and everything.
15 meters. Where were you? In Europe?
I was at the top, and then
where? What rock?
was a cliff.
Where?
Actually, in near Valence, in Cornas.
Okay, in
They are
France.
making very good wine.
Okay, in France. Okay, so you fell 15 meters down. You
Yeah.
brace yourself. You break your wrists.
Yeah.
Everything's broken, all the bones, and you hit your head as well.
I lost 45% of my blood. My vitals were really. I was about to die, which somehow I didn't. At one point, they were supposed to amputate my forearm. I really did fight very hard to. I knew that doctors, they said that no way I was going to climb back. So, okay, just thought, fair enough, keep it for you. And then once I was outside the hospital, I decided that I was going to find my own strategy. And the strategy was quite simple, the very small step, but every day.
Okay, so a little bit better every day. And then you
Exactly.
climb some of these amazing free solo climbs afterwards.
Exactly.
That must be mind-boggling for Alex Honnold to know that with limited wrist motion, you did some amazing free solo climbs. Okay.
You know, there again, what he did by free soloing El Capitan is also mind-blowing.
Right. What did you think when you heard he was going to try it?
First of all, I wanted to do it year 94, but at that time, there was no such a thing as a free rider. You know, you have to understand, there was a route, Salate Wall. But Salate Wall, it's unthinkable free solo.
Okay.
Because there is two pitches that are totally, they are far too hard and they are totally unsafe. So he tried it a long time, and then one day he found out that actually he could avoid those two pitches.
Right, by
And
doing the
then
free
he
rider.
called this part of El Capitan free rider.
Which is that kind of low slope with no handholds that you have to just kind of hope that your feet stick, because if you slide,
it's kind of a
dangerous, right?
It's kind of a combination with, you know, that he worked on freerider like for 2 years.
Wow.
So he knew any single pockets. But okay, the day you need to remove the rope and to do it without, it's a different game.
Tell me about that mind game when you take the rope off, because that's where 100 climbers goes down to one that can actually do it for real with no rope. And that's why there's very few free solo climbers.
I think most likely it is something very mental. It's like deep down you are accepting the ultimate death. Although this is not what you are looking for, but somehow you are accepting it.
The ultimate death.
Yeah, if you are not accepting that it may go wrong, you cannot do that.
Okay.
It's impossible.
All right, so you just accept that that could happen, and then you just continue.
You are wishing that your physical stamina, your mental stamina, your technicality will make it, but deep down you cannot put it apart. Potentially you are dead.
Okay.
You know, when I climbed the hardest thing I did in Verdun, you are 250 meters above the ground. It's 50-50. You are really playing a hard game.
Okay.
You know, I did stuff like year 91. The name is not Freerider, it's La Nuit du Lézard. It's completely nuts. The chances that you may do it and you may reach the top alive, they are really, 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 really slim.
Okay, so it's like flipping a coin.
Yeah.
You can easily die.
And you know why? I can tell you also why I did that. I guess I had to take a revenge. You know what's happened to me year 1982? I was a guy, I was young, I was 19 years old. I was promised a gigantic future. I was going to be an amazing climber, and suddenly I was a dead guy. And deep down, I couldn't accept it. I had to do something. And I did fight my own way, you know. Doctors, they were against me. They said, you can't do it. You won't do it. And I said them, fuck you.
And that's why you took some of those risks later.
I did it because I felt it's so unfair. I had my whole life, you know, I had everything ahead, and I messed up.
Why were you so good as a climber? Like, what makes you good? Is it genetic? Is it chance?
Because I started climbing when I was younger. I was peeing in my pants. I was afraid of height. I had only one thing, you know. Actually, I did start climbing because when I was a little boy, I dreamt to be courageous. I was afraid of everything.
Afraid of everything, even heights.
Oh, heights, I was terrified about heights.
So you
My first experience was in my parents' car. We were going to Lyon and my dad, we were going to Toulouse and my dad decided to quit the highway and to cut short to the mountains. And I was inside the car and I was completely terrified.
just to be in a car on
I
the mountains.
just thought that the car was going to fall anytime.
Okay.
And the car was going to be swallowed by the precipice and I was going to die. So, imagine the gigantic step in between peeing in the pants in the car and becoming a climber. So I became a climber, quite good. And then year 1982, I destroyed everything.
Right. And then you came back from those injuries and then
Yeah.
started taking big risks again.
That was the revenge of my life.
Revenge. Are you going up there in anger when you're climbing? Or
Not
you-
at all.
No, because then you'll die.
No, and I was competing alone. I was with myself.
Just alone up there.
Oh yeah, there was no YouTube, no nothing. Well, of course, I am having people who did witness the biggest thing I did. So there is pictures or kind of films,
Okay.
but that was not the purpose because I was pretty much free soloing every day.
Okay. And you did it because you had so much potential. You thought it was lost and you thought, I'm not going to waste this life.
Exactly. That was my path. I found it when I was like 8 years old. I saw a movie inspired by a novel written by Henri Troyat, The Grieving Snow. It's a story about an airplane from India who is crashing near the top of Mont Blanc, and two brothers, they are guys, talented climbers, and they decide to climb the mountains to seek survivors. And then I saw that there was Spencer Tracy at that time. So imagine it's like the 50s, the movie. And wow, I was kind of, mind-boggling by seeing those guys climbing a mountain. And just, I thought, wow, I want to become a guy like that.
Wow.
So that was my dream.
Okay. And so you started doing scarier and scarier free
Yeah.
solos, things that you said you have 50-50 chance of even surviving.
Yeah, I was willing to play the high game.
Okay. One thing we saw from Alex Honnold in the movie Free Solo, this is what Jimmy Chin and all of his friends said, is that Alex can manage his emotions. Maybe too much, where the highest he'll ever get is a 6 and the lowest he'll ever get is a 4, and that's how he's able to free solo. First of all, do you think that's true? And second of all, is that the way you climb, where you can manage your emotions?
It is. There is no other way, actually. You cannot play a 50-50 games without managing everything. You are managing your emotions. If you are panicking, you're dead.
Right. Is that something you learned to do, or were you born
No,
with a low bandwidth of emotions?
Well,
Because Alex looks like a cyborg in that movie a little bit. His girlfriend's frustrated with him because he seems like a real even-keeled guy all the time. That doesn't seem like you.
Yeah,
Alex doesn't wear snakeskin.
yeah, definitely. Well, this is a rock and roll style.
Right, you're more rock and roll.
And nobody is having one word badass.
One word
actually,
badass.
You know why?
That's what it says.
In a funny way.
Yeah.
This is Alex Honnold who get interviewed by the New Yorker year 2009 when they were doing this long feature on me.
Yeah.
And he said about me, one word, badass.
That's what Alex said about you
Yeah.
before he was super famous.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
And I liked it because I didn't even know, because when I read the article, I was upset about the writer. I said, what the hell she's writing that I'm a badass? Because I took it like bad and ass, and not knowing actually what
Okay.
was the meaning of being a badass.
So, Alan, we're going to call this show One Word Badass. We're gonna
Yeah,
call
well,
that.
definitely.
All right,
it
so
is.
Alex gave you props back in 2009. But again, like, do you think you're the even keel guy or only when you climb?
Oh, well, no more. Well, it depends, because, I am kind of good, kicking ass of the society. I'm not really afraid of cops.
Right.
I'm not really afraid. I'm afraid of something, of being bored.
Okay, being bored, right?
That's what scares me.
Okay.
That's it.
And you like being a rebel. And we'll get into that because some of your climbs involve a little rebelliousness and a little thumbing into authority as well. So let me just finish up with Alex. You heard he was going to free solo El Capitan. You knew about the new route. Were you scared for him? Were you scared of him dying? Did you know he could do it?
No, I knew you could do it, I knew Alex. I knew, what he has done in the past. Well, like a year. Even there was quite a long time actually that he was free soloing. I knew that free soloing El Capitan was kind of safe.
Safe.
I know where we are discussing, you are not a climber, so it's kind of difficult maybe to understand that free soloing this route, this particular route. I wouldn't say that if you are telling me he has free soloed Salate Wall or El Capitan, I would tell you it's completely nuts.
Okay, right. So
But
the
free soloing free rider was still doable, and especially because he had a lot margin. As I was telling you earlier, when I was free soloing 513D, I had no margin. I could do 513D with a rope, and I could only do 513. No, I could only do 513D with a rope, and I could do 513D without ropes.
Okay. So there was, no margin there.
No margin.
He had margin. So it's funny how you say that because everyone's flabbergasted when you're like, El Capitan was safe. But it was safe with the freerider piece at the bottom. If he had chosen those other routes, it would have been absolutely insane.
Yeah,
as in 80% chance of death.
Exactly. Meaning, yes, he wished that he could climb maybe Salate Wall or the nose, but he knew that actually it was far too risky.
Okay.
It was like, when I climbed La Nuit du Lézard or Pol Pot in Verdun, I was like at 50-50. But maybe climbing Salate Wall or the nose, it would be 70% you die, 30% you make it, or maybe 80-20.
Okay,
So,
and all the climbers know that it's that stacked.
Exactly.
Will anyone ever climb those routes you just said free solo?
No, never.
Not for hundreds of years, thousands of years.
Yeah, no, even some of the top guys who are free soloing, like Alexander Huber, even climb harder than 513D. He did 514A. Free solo, but he said the style of La Nuit du Lézard and the way it is so hazardous, it makes it completely nuts.
Okay, so there's a weird psychological factor.
Exactly, because people, they may think, actually what makes it difficult, this is the grade. But when you are free soloing, it's a different thing. It's the style of the route that you are climbing.
Okay.
Whether it is safe or it is totally insecure.
Okay.
And free soloing La Nuit or free soloing Pol Pot is totally insecure.
Right. So there's a difficulty and then there's a safety. And if the safety is not safe, it gets amplified when you're free soloing.
It means like you are relying on adherences with your feet, with the tip of your feet.
Right.
And any time if you are losing that little friction, then what your fingers are holding is so tiny that it's impossible not to fall.
Okay.
So it's like you are pushing desperately, hoping that you shouldn't lose contact, and then you grab the next pocket and the next one, and then suddenly you're at the top and you feel like you just reborn.
Wow.
It's like I have fucking regained my life.
Wow. But most climbers can't handle that kind of psychology and emotion on a regular basis.
No, that would be nuts. And actually, most of the climbers, they are not even free soloing,
right?
Because they don't want to take risk,
right.
And most likely they are right.
Yeah,
it's just a choice. You know what you are doing with your. Let me tell you something. Most people, they don't even know. Climbers, they are knowing, of course. Alex, for example, there is guys like now, like Adam Ondra or Chris Sharma. They have done things with a rope that they are much harder than what I did or what Alex did.
Okay, with rope, it's even harder. Okay.
But, it is requiring, I don't know if this is strength or it is requiring something very special.
Okay. But you have to be an accomplished climber to understand how impressive those things are.
That's why, I guess those Olympics this summer, if the coronavirus is not messing up everything, it's going to bring a new light about exactly what it is about climbing.
Okay.
Because people, they are quite confused. They haven't really understood that there is so many ways of climbing.
To continue watching the rest of the episode for free, visit our website londonreal.tv or click the link in the description below.